Table or truth?
One of the problems, and going right directly into modern politics, is in order to have you don't have to agree with everybody fully, but to have a discussion, there has to be understandable and mutually agreed facts.
Yes.
That are facts.
Which is hard to do when everything's fake. Can I get you a quesadilla, by the way?
No,
All
I'm
right,
just, but thank you for the offer. But if you cannot agree on simple, basic facts, it's extremely difficult to have a understanding between the parties. And so
Church.
What we saw was
Right
it came out with the alternative facts
No.
by Kellyanne Conway.
Oh, wait,
She
wait,
was the one that was a Trump advisor.
Wait, what are we talking about here? Andrew Tate or the
No,
mini?
we're talking
just
about
the news or the world itself?
Well, it was, you will bring up the point about people being able to discuss and then get an understanding. And,
Right.
Again, not necessarily to agree with each other, but to get an understanding. And so, but if you can't agree on facts, of truth being truth,
I
it's
agree.
difficult.
Ironically,
to
I
have,
agree.
have that discussion. And so when you have either side spinning,
Yep. And well said too. Spinning, because you want ratings, you want mints, but the truth is you sacrifice order, maybe, and reason.
yeah, that's the reason why I look at right and wrong, what's legal, what's.
But wait a minute, if I may. But if one looks at right or wrong based on legal, that's not necessarily right or wrong on a universal moral end. Once again,
well,
because
that's
you
where
can
you
take
can't
the
mix
laws.
up morality, which you like to do bring out.
Well, I try to understand.
Because everyone's morals or moral plane may be different, particularly your environment and how you were raised.
Right, but then...
but legally, you have facts. Law is written.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is, unless that law is either rewritten or it goes to court.
Yeah, no, laws can be written. Yeah, no,
Right.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No problem.
Laws can be written. I think the trouble here, as a philosopher, not to sound overzealous here, is that laws they're not based on absolute truths cannot necessarily be aligned with some sort of higher ranking laws that amplify health and wellness universally overall. And so I have a problem just following laws in the sense of and trusting that is the way to keep order when those laws could easily be exploited by people like lawyers who know exactly how to swindle the law, and it has nothing to do with morality. In other words, it can exploit certain weaknesses on an opponent by using the law. And so that doesn't really solve much on a universal scale in terms of wellness. No wonder why there's always going to be strife, because people that are much smarter than other people who know legal loopholes can use those to, is the right word, exasperate a situation for somebody and cause them to... I'm not saying, by the way, he's not guilty here, but let's just say for the sake of argument, go to jail in Romania, provided his eyewitnesses acquitted him. So therefore, I need to understand the bigger stance here. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm using reason and logic, not bias, to try to make sense of the truth. I may not even agree with it, by the way. I may not even like it.
Well, when you say you use reason, you saw it on television, Andrew Tate's name.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that his witnesses or
because like a month and a half ago, I think I remember reading and watching. Was it now I know you're gonna roll your eyes, but I saw an episode of the Epic Times.
Oh, geez.
I knew you were gonna do it. But see, here's the thing: I don't know if that's fake news any more than CNN or Fox News or freaking MSNBC. How do I know the truth? Great teacher.
Well,
Show me the way.
the difference is for journalism, you have a certain set of standards when you're a journalist.
Moral integrity, right?
No, it's not
Just
moral integrity.
Standards
It is
set up
about,
by.
a set of rules and checks and balances. Generally, your editor will make sure that, if you're quoting, you generally get two sources,
Yeah.
things like
Yeah,
that.
but
You fact check,
Uh-huh.
and then you present it, and that's it. But what a lot of people make a mistake is the Tucker Carlsons,
The Rachel Maddows.
the Rachel Maddows, the
Shock jocks, and they take them as absolutes.
I would no shock jock. That's a different realm because you know what shock jocks are. They're entertainers. They're not journalists.
Well, Tucker, let's be fair. They're all of these roundtable discussions you see on every news network are entertainers. It's partial news.
The nighttime and particularly the Fox's line up with Laura Ingraham and Hannity and what used to be Tucker.
Jake Tapper and Rachel Maddow and freaking what the hell's his name? The guy that looks like Steve Martin that was on CNN.
Lawrence O'Donnell? Oh, CNN?
Yeah. Like for some reason he's really famous.
Not Wolf Blitzer.
No, he's another one though. Like
Yeah,
I've seen him lose arguments with guests and then he just cuts them off. Like he can't handle the idea that somebody put him on his place where he can't make consent. And I'm just like, and a lot of them do that. They'll just talk over the person.
Well,
and then just be like, we could have. You're like, this was getting good.
Hardball with Chris Matthews. Chris Matthews is driving me crazy.
Don Lemon. Sorry, ironically.
No, I look more at Don Lemon.
Didn't he get in trouble recently for actually doing exactly what we're talking about? Like not really.
Well, he did. He left CNN.
He got fired from CNN, didn't he?
Actually, they put out a daytime talk show
because he was being supposedly wasn't he like bad mouthing one of the female anchors there? Right. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, if he had kept his nighttime show, which it was okay in the ratings, and it was actually a 2-hour block. But what I did enjoy, Chris Cuomo used to come in before him. And so their swap at the end was extremely entertaining. Yeah, where they would talk about, and they were true friends. They would go visit each other weekends out with the family and things like that. But they were extremely entertaining. And then Chris Cuomo did sin when he was supporting his governor brother do it in the pandemic.
Right, I know the giant Q-tip. I remember that.
And then he went beyond that to try to influence some people, being as a quote unquote journalist. And so CNN, booted him.
Okay, that's fair. So they are creating checks and balances to boot people that give fake news, as they put it.
Well, actually, he was going beyond the scope because what you try to project is fairness in that you are off to the side. Where it was bad enough, some would say, during the pandemic that he was supporting his brother, who was the governor.
Yeah, no, that's unfair.
And I watched that, and actually, some of it was entertaining because Governor Cuomo, what I liked during the pandemic was he came out darn there every day.
Yeah.
And told the people of New York what was going on. And he was hitting them with facts up to the minute and what he was doing. And then showed up on his brother's show, and so they were pushing it. So that's a fine line.
Yeah, I remember at first he looked like he was presidential timber. I remember that.
And then when Governor Cuomo got tagged for being abusive to women.
Okay, so all right, well, that didn't help the image.
Right, and then so Chris Cuomo tried to defend him somewhat.
Brothers,
outside the line.
Yeah.
He went outside the line of CNN. And so, same thing with Tucker Carlson. But Tucker Carlson was he was bad mouthing management, and
Right.
again, it came out in Discovery, and so
And they got
that
butthurt,
was
they
it.
couldn't
Because-
handle it,
because
and they were
again,
willing to sink in
Is
like
he, he was the number one moneymaker
yeah.
at Fox
I still
News.
don't get that.
And the thing is that is he bigger than Fox News?
Apparently he is.
Well, evidently he's not.
I don't know about that. He hasn't done too many episodes, to
They
be fair.
booted him.
But
They
that
booted
doesn't
him.
mean anything in terms
That's not-
of
he's not big.
ratings of the internet and popularity. He's definitely more popular than Fox News. Like him or hate him. Like the fact is, if you look at the ratings, whenever a Tucker Carlson thing goes on, like the viewership skyrockets for whatever he posts. All right, and if you look at per unit day, that same day of whatever.
You can't measure a.
Well, I don't put the population in general.
No, but you can't measure a podcast or a tweet.
I can if
With-
it's getting
with-
more
with-
views and likes than we'll say something that's on CNN that day or Fox
again,
News.
the likes of what? It's not just one person.
No, it's
go in
millions
and
of
hit-
people.
No, it's one person hitting it 5 times. How about that?
What about the
Likes.
comments section?
The comments?
Are those all bots?
No, they don't. Hold it. The question is, are any bots?
Are any bots?
Yeah,
There's probably but you know what?
Right.
Have you ever read the comic section?
So you can't measure that.
Wait, if I may, have
Yeah.
you ever read the comments section on YouTube channels? Have you really thoroughly looked at it? You can kind of tell with the bot. Okay, thank you, I appreciate that. Some of the you can easily tell who's the bots. It's so. In fact, the entire internet swarms around those people. Like, okay, you're obviously a bot. Because they'll say something that only a space alien or robot would say that's so asinine or just so soullessly concise with trying to make an agenda that goes against the narrative of whatever is being. And you're like, look, even if you were a hater of Tucker Carlson or Rachel Maddow or pick one, right? You're like, the way you phrase that was just so bland and soulless. You're either a bot, okay, or you're a space alien. All right, and you're trying to pretend you're a human being. They're like, you're clearly a bot. You don't know what you're talking. So nobody takes that seriously. You're like, all right, because anybody that bland, you wouldn't want to talk to in real life at a party anyway. You're like, honestly, thank you, but no thanks, right? So the internet, and this is the thing I find the most fascinating about our society in general. I'm talking about Spaceship Earth. It seems that for the most part, a huge portion of the Western Hemisphere. I can't speak for the other part of the world because I'm not there, but I'm assuming. From what I've seen, people of intelligence and education anywhere feel the same way. They want to be left alone to just kind of govern their affairs. For the most part, they have an innate sense of morality, which ironically seems to, if people followed it, right, life would just be way easier, right? And they know when people are just being dishonest. They know after a while. They know when, somebody's exploiting their position of authority, right? Look at all the election freaking, what do you call it? What's the word? Like the turnovers in Europe and stuff. Like people that just, you're like, where did this party come from? And like a conservative party in Italy, like what's going on in Africa, right? They're aware that the establishment, whoever secretly controls shit behind the scenes, they're kind of like, this just doesn't sit right anymore. I know they're telling us that they're the experts. I know they're saying, it's supposed to be like this, and the laws somehow are developed to favor the elite, as they call it. But in the end, they're just like, honestly, this just doesn't sit right. And if people, for the most part, can just use the most basic system of laws, things just take care of themselves. If you like our aims to bring about peace and prosperity to the human race by having this channel as a template on how to do civil discussion, hit a like and subscribe and share the channel.